Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
For waking up in Vegas. Yeah, you know, Katy Perry's had it. Clearly, Ben Crawford's had it, where you just have one of those nights you do not remember.
One of those nights.
Hey, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to another Secrets and Lies After Show. Tonight we're going to talk Season 1, Episode 8, The Sun. And before we dive into that, I want to make sure you guys out there all subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Also, check out all the podcasts on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. And throughout the week, make sure you guys are tweeting to us. We want to know what you guys think of the show and who you think did it, all that good stuff. I'm Lauren Salon. You can find me on Twitter at Lauren Salon. Should be right down here. And I'm joined tonight by all of our panel. Pretty awesome.
April got a little excited.
I'm really happy to be here. We're very excited that we're all four of us here tonight. We've got Strickland, Cates, Chelsea Briche, and April Whisenhant. Ladies, how's it going?
Hey guys, you can find me on Twitter at Strickland Cates.
I'm at C. Briche.
And I'm at April Whisenhant.
Awesome. So let's dive in. Tonight's was a juicy one, which I feel like we say every week because every week they are quite intense. And so our big thing coming off of last week was the cell phone video, which Cornell brings to Ben right at the very end of the episode. This video of him getting out of the cab and going, what appears to be going straight to Jess's house.
Toward Jess's house, but never actually on the property.
Yeah.
Like to point that out.
That's what
Thank you.
That's what I was saying the whole time.
In case you didn't notice.
Like, this video, it just shows him, like, wandering across the street. That's nothing.
I didn't. I was like, I knew that he loved Jess.
All I could think was, like, he's clearly stumbling. How many times have you been like, well,
this
hopefully
isn't
not
my
that
house.
many, but like, you get out of a car, you've had a little bit too much to drink. Maybe your friend has put a roofie in your drink, and you stumble a way that isn't toward your house. I mean, like, there's
and then
nothing.
you could be like, oh, wait, I don't live there.
I gotta turn around.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was
Nothing
saying.
can be proven by that video.
Of course, later we learned that, yes, he did in fact go into Jess's house. But from the video, it very much seemed like it didn't seem that damning
bad
to me. You know, when he talks to his lawyer about it, he's like, oh, this is bad. You know, they're gonna
arrest
get you on this. They'll arrest you on this. But the whole time I'm like, not that big of a deal. He's just in the street. So
You need to be his attorney is what needs to happen.
right, yeah, I need to be his evidence destroyer, counselor, whatever you want to call it. So we also see Ben and Jess have a little bit of a moment, confrontation there in the beginning, and Jess's sister is there, who I know we've all been wanting to see more of because we felt like that should have been explored a bit more.
No, I don't want to see any more of her.
It wasn't, though. But I felt like there was some legitimacy to her and Scott being more suspect than they were in the beginning. I felt like saying they were together was way too easy.
Yeah.
And then they just disappeared. I feel like we definitely need to learn more about them, and we will probably.
Well, I want to know
since they're bringing her back.
If Jess has confronted her about it, or if she's confronted Scott about it, because they just walked in and then walked right back out whenever they saw them in Scott's apartment. So there's just so much that we still don't know, because that's literally the last time that we saw them, besides seeing Nicole tonight for 0.2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of sounded like she maybe has had a conversation with Nicole about it, just because she was like, she's making an effort. She's my sister.
She's trying
I kind of have to.
But she's
And
making
it's
an
Christmas.
effort to what? To like say, I'm so sorry that I slept with your husband?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I guess so. That's what it sounds like.
That is a huge
It sounded like Jess
effort.
was like, I have to forgive her. She's my sister, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She's working on it.
Yeah, she did say she's
But-
trying to make things right.
Yeah.
And
By
she was
making
still
her
being
accountable.
very rude.
Bye, Nicole. Bye.
Yeah, bye, Nicole. So, and in that moment, Jess starts to say something to Ben about that whole night, you know,
Yeah.
and like, oh, well, there was something, and then she doesn't. Which,
well, and then Ben doesn't even ask, like, just tell me what it is. You know what I mean?
Right. Doesn't
because
follow
maybe
up
that would
about
have
it.
like triggered the whole thing in the first place with the tooth and everything. If she said that, he could have been like, oh, why does that sound familiar?
But he seems so hesitant, like as close as obviously they are. Why wasn't he just like, hey, did I come over to your house that night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering the whole time. Because even when she said, like, oh, there is something that I haven't told you, I'm like, okay, at this point, he doesn't know that she was, you know, ultimately asleep whenever he walked in. But I'm like, that would be the first question that I ask. Because if I walk into someone's house, I'm not going to assume they're asleep. I'm going to think that they're awake. So why did he not say right then, did I come to your house that night? And it could have been... Just whole episode
I think
solved
he was probably like afraid of the answer, honestly, because he has no idea. So? I feel like, what if she's like, yeah, you don't remember? Like, you did this, this, and this, and blah, blah.
You don't remember? You killed Tom.
Yeah. You don't remember?
Just kidding. Not funny.
Not funny. Yeah.
Oh, anyway. So we also see a lot of Ben and Christy situation because we left off last week and they're no good, you know, going on right now. And Christy's threatening divorce. She's staying at her brother Michael's house. And she very much, this episode was painted kind of as the bad guy. And I know a lot of you out there on our YouTube comments are saying, it's Christy, it's Christy.
Crazy Christy, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and we've called her Crazy Christy from the beginning. I personally don't think... I think it's all still trying to make us think it's her, and it's going to be some big twist in the end for who it really is. But this episode really made it seem like she has all the motive and the means, all of that
and the money
to do it.
Yeah. Right. Well, if whether she killed Tom or not, she's got some shady things going on. Like who just hides all that money, B hides it from their significant other, and like the whole thing.
Yeah.
She was so suspicious about him going to pee, which I understand that came off really shady, but she's just like breathing down his neck.
Yeah. I think this episode she was very dramatic. Like
she was
much more dramatic than seemed necessary. I get that tensions are high with everybody, but she just seems so like she quickly made up her mind of, oh, we're leaving, we're getting a divorce, and then it was like hostile.
Right.
Yeah. Well, aside
like you're
from
not seeing the kids, like everything is to an extreme.
Aside from like all the Tom stuff that's going on and how she potentially could have done it, but just how she's handling this whole divorce situation and keeping the girls from him, that's just
on Christmas
especially, and he doesn't even want to see her. She's
right. He's like, I don't want to see you. I just want to
go hang out with her brother. He'll take the kids. You know, like I don't get that.
I kind of going. So I am on the like Christy train, but kind of. In her, no, on that I think she potentially could have done it, but to be on her side for a second, we have to think about all that she's gone through and done for him in this. Like, yes, she's obviously been a little hostile. She's way more so hostile now, of course, but I mean, think about what I think she has been probably preparing to leave him for a while, because we see tonight whenever they do the flashback of the argument, she is already, has been suspecting him of cheating, and that's when he admits it. So I think it's been, a long time coming, and this is just all of this stuff. I mean, he's not telling her. She clearly knows that he didn't just go take a leak in the woods, and the fact that he is unwilling to tell her anything, I'd probably be pretty fed up too. She finds out half the stuff she finds out because through the police or through Cornell or something like that. So
I
think she's frustrated.
that's fair. Like it is. If we look into her side for a second, you almost kind of want to not feel sorry for her, but like you feel something. Yeah, a smidge. I would feel a lot more sorry for her, whatever phrase you want to say, if she's not hiding all this money, or if she's just like.
Or she was slightly nice.
She's like a slightly nice human being. Or like the whole, abortion thing. Like there's just so many different factors, I think, for me to fully be like, God, like I really feel bad for her. She's in a really awful situation.
Yeah. Why do you think that she's paying for the lawyer?
I think she cares about it. It's her baby daddy. You know what I mean? Like clearly he needs help. Yeah. She knows that there's no other way that he's gonna have help.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's probably of a caring thing. Yeah. But it could
also be... Or she just feels guilty about, like, if she did do it, then she's like, oh, well, I don't want him to go to jail.
Right. And he's
I thought maybe, like, in hopes that he would go. I don't know. I just didn't take it as a positive thing. I wasn't like, God, 10 points back for Christy.
Well, maybe, like, somehow she you know, she picked the lawyer essentially because she's paying for it. So maybe she thinks that it'll
end
up a certain way, or maybe he'll try to help her in the long run.
Or maybe she paid him to pretend like he's actually helping Ben, but then
he
twist
it.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, just kidding, Ben did it.
JK.
No, I don't know. I still think that Christy's not the bad guy, and I'm still holding on to that intense discussion they had where she was like, I love you, but I also hate you, that whole thing.
That was good.
You know, that was really good. And I think, you know, if we're trying to put ourselves in Christy's shoes, you know, it's such a complicated mess that they're in. So I think, yes, she's very justified in being completely pissed off and acting like a crazy dramatic person on the one hand. But then on the other hand, because this is your husband and a man you've spent like 15 years with or something, you know, they've been together for a while, I would think that she would approach the whole like divorce conversation on Christmas like with a little more calm maybe,
and not
or
calling
like,
the police.
He's
obviously not dangerous by any means.
Well,
and her brother just like fuels the whole situation.
I feel like her brother comes out of nowhere to me. Like
every time.
He's been this character that we've seen since the beginning, and it's like, Michael, oh my gosh. But we don't know anything about him.
Yeah, we really don't.
Other than like he comes in I'm like, why do you hate Ben so much? Like I get the whole like he's a painter or whatever, but I just feel like they put him in there as almost like a filler character because we only see him for a couple of seconds on a few episodes. I don't know. It's kind of random to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think sometimes, though, he's a little bit of a neutralizer. Like tonight, I feel like he kind of neutralized the situation. Not terribly so, but he, you know.
he called the cops on Ben.
No, she called the cops, and
Christy
he told them
called
not
the
to
cops.
come.
And he was like, no, it's cool.
No,
you guys.
like
the
about
first time.
the,
Yeah,
with
first.
the
So I don't
woods.
think he was neutralizing at all. I don't think he likes Ben. I think he totally thinks that, like, he's a low life for his sister. And
what a bunch of brats.
yeah, just like he's a brat. That's a perfect word.
Yeah.
He's just
Really
Michael is such a brat.
So is Christy.
Speaking of brats, Nat, who usually is a brat, I did like seeing her.
Yeah.
You know, the last
I
couple
agree.
episodes, I've liked
I
her
agree.
like transition into being a little bit more mature and not such a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And tonight, you know, she calls Ben and says that she misses him, and you know, is just. She's not overreacting and being like an irrational teenager, which I feel like we've seen her be a lot. But which is nice. You know, I like them being on Ben's side.
Me too.
No, I do. It was so sad.
I like seeing her taking care of her little sister,
Yeah.
and because you know Abby is such like the ultimate daddy's girl. So
Yeah.
seeing Nat kind of take her under her wing because things are going to get even crazier, especially when Christy starts yelling nonsensical things at him in the middle of the day when the kids are clearly watching.
On Christmas, there's no
She's
way
gonna
they
think
don't
that
know what's
through.
happening right now. Even if they are inside,
Right.
they can 100% hear you.
Yeah,
And they're
exactly.
not children. Like, they are fully capable of understanding and I think it was Abby, you know, she's like, you think of no one but yourself. Like, that's a very true statement. You know what I mean? If you're having a fight of that sort, like, I'm sure your emotions get the best of you. But you know that you have 2 children at ear's length. And, like, it's your responsibility as a parent to take care of them.
Yeah.
And
I think she
does
was
not.
being really selfish there.
yeah.
And what Ben said is you can't use the kids as revenge. And
Which
she really
she
can't.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Christmas. I mean, I think in that situation, you suck it up and you be civil with one another and you do Christmas presents or whatever you guys were going to do and try and be normal and then decide as adults, okay, we're going to deal with our adult problems separately at another time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Christy was kind of using
Well,
the
and she
kids
was like,
to-
I'm gonna say this politely. Don't come over here.
Right, like, all right,
not polite.
you need to
Probably
look up the
rudest thing I've
definition.
ever heard. But then he's trying to compromise. He's like, oh, I'll bring what you need over here, or maybe like you can come over and get what you need. Blah blah. She's like, no, I want to come when you're not there because I got like millions of dollars hidden. So
It's like really MBD, but like when you're not there, I need to get some cash money. Like,
But of course, as Ben does, he goes over there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which obviously we knew he would do.
But
you
first,
know.
they've got to drop the flashlight
Oh yeah.
Yes.
on the way.
So
Quick little detour.
Yeah. So
Always on the way to Michael's, though.
Yeah.
seriously,
rid of
yeah.
the
Let's
evidence.
talk about that. So Ben and Dave are, having their normal weekly bromance together, and Dave gives Ben the flashlight.
We
as
called
a
that,
Christmas
by
present.
the
Yeah,
way,
you guys
last
did.
week.
Yeah.
No, I didn't at all.
We for sure called that Ben or that Dave picked up that
the
flashlight and
flashlight.
hid it because
Yeah.
we think he was involved in more ways, and we also called that he drugged Ben.
Yeah, we called both of those.
On top of
I'm gonna give you a little high five.
on top of sketchy Dave. But how I thought it was so weird that he gave it to him as a present. That whole thing was just so bizarre. He's like, "Yeah, man,"
and then they were so excited. It's like they just won the Super Bowl or something.
I was really excited too because he would have gone to prison.
Ben, like when they were all searching, I mean, I didn't even think that Dave got it. I don't know, my mind just didn't even go there. But I was like, how did they not find this flashlight?
Right.
You know, there's like 15 detectives out there with like all their tools.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I bet
no,
Ben
we knew
was like,
Dave picked
shit in
it.
his pants.
Well, Ben told Dave very specifically like where he hid it by that shopping cart. He was like, I almost broke my leg on the shopping cart, blah blah. So he like knew like.
And Dave was asking very specific questions about where it was.
I just don't. The reason why this makes Dave more suspicious to me is because I don't think he's smart enough to come up with like, oh, Christy, you know, thought something more about you using the bathroom, so let me go get that flashlight. Like, that's a long way to go, and like to search through the woods for a really long time. For obviously
in a short
it's his best
amount of
friend.
time.
Well, I also think that he was just trying to do anything at this point to like make up for what he feels guilty about.
Right.
Doing.
So yeah, for the whole drugging him thing, maybe that him going to find the flashlight and hide it and kind of cover Ben's butt that way is his way of
like being like, okay, you can't be mad at me for that long.
Satiating his guilt in that sense.
True.
But I agree. It was
But how did the
lot.
cops even know to look there?
Well, because that's where Christy
Michael
said things were
overheard
suspicious.
them. Like she was like, I know that you weren't.
Well, Christy told her brother.
Yeah,
Christy told her brother what was going on. She felt uncomfortable, suspicious of what Ben was doing, and then Michael called the police and just relayed all that info. Yeah, so Dave and Ben have the flashlight, and like I've been saying every single week, they should just put it in a freaking tub of acid to dissolve that thing, and then
where does one get a tub of acid?
I don't know.
Home Depot.
I watched enough watched enough Breaking Bad and Dexter and stuff. It's not that hard, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
But they go to that construction site, which I feel like is the same exact construction site where Ben was taken hostage by his neighbor.
I think so.
I think it is the same one. It looked really similar.
So
where he like ran up away from
the stairs.
instead of
Not
out.
away. Yeah. So, and they dump it down this like tunnel tube thing, which I'm assuming is going to get built over and then covered up so the flashlight will be locked away essentially in this part of the building forever, you know?
I think it's so ridiculously dumb. Not just because you can hear it, like
Tell us, girl.
you can hear it thud.
Yeah.
So clearly it's not that deep. This isn't a hole to nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, it's like 2 seconds later. It's like, boop. I'm like, okay, didn't really follow that.
But
far.
if they are actually, you know, his lawyer tells him they're going to charge you soon because of this video. But so aren't the police probably following him? Like secretly following him? That's not illegal. Like they do that to make sure you're not like fleeing the country. And we've seen in a preview before where we haven't seen it in a while, but Cornell says to him, "You were caught trying to hide evidence, trying to throw away evidence."
Yeah.
So I'm like, why? It just goes back to the acid thing. Like you delete it from existence.
But then if they're being followed, then they'll follow them to Home Depot or wherever you get the acid.
What's in the bag?
But they don't know exactly what they bought, maybe. I don't know. I bet if you soak that thing in bleach
why don't you guys remember that?
Right. If you soak that thing in bleach for a long time, though, something is bound to happen. Coca-Cola. Haven't there been things where, like, Coke?
Actually, that's true.
Something in a cup of Coke and it'll dissolve it.
Then Cornell's like, why did you buy like 400 million liters of Coca-Cola?
I was thirsty. Prove it.
Oh, dear.
In cash.
So anyway, I feel like, again, this flashlight's going to come back to haunt him because it's in, you know, through the
I'm telling you that tunnel leads right to the police department.
Yeah, it's like a laundry chute. That's what we're saying.
Laundry chutes right into Cornell's office.
She's sitting there waiting.
She's like, oh, where did this come from?
Oh, yeah. So the flashlight again. So while Ben and Dave are hanging out, we also get another flashback into what happened that night. And they're talking about, you know, everything. And Ben or Dave finally has this big secret that he's like been dying to tell Ben. And it's what we thought, that he drugged Ben that night. And so they go back and we see what happened that night. And, you know, he's saying like Ben was super belligerent and violent and all this stuff and just like in a bad way, you know, so he had to do that, which you don't do that to your friends.
Make them feel guilty about something that you don't even know that happened.
Yeah, and you don't like drug them without telling them just to like make them feel better. maybe
like, you got it. Yeah.
You say like, hey, I've got something for you. Want to try it? It'll loosen your load.
Like before that, like I feel like Ben wouldn't have been opposed to doing some sort of drug, but he just had to go to the bathroom real quick. Like at least wait for him to get back so he can get his permission. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like maybe you could hand him the thing and he can do it himself. You know what I mean?
Dave is not that smart.
No, he is.
I was like, oh, let me secretly do this.
That quickly was kind of blown over, though. Ben didn't get too. I mean, he clearly got very pissed in the moment about it, but then was just kind of like, okay.
Because he brought
it didn't really work out the way Dave wanted it to, but I think that Ben saw that he didn't have like bad intentions.
Right, yeah. What did he say?
I don't know if you ever don't have
purpose.
bad. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird to say he didn't have bad intentions when he like secretly roofied him.
The line he said, Ben said, your heart was in the right place, but your head was up your ass.
Yeah. That's a
which
good
is
line.
a great way to put it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a good line.
I love that writing. Good job.
Write that down.
Good job, writers. So we see Ben back at the bar, and he's talking loudly about marriage and all this stuff. And then we get back out of the flashback, and they decide to retrace their steps.
Which is a smart idea.
Which is smart, but so funny. They're like, we have to do it exactly like it was that night.
I thought that Ben was gonna take the roofie.
Me too.
Yeah, I thought
he was gonna do that again.
The dumbest thing ever.
Well, because they were being so adamant about like, well, I was wearing this coat.
Right.
Well, no, we were sitting in these chairs, you know? And then I was like, well, when is he going to drive him again?
He's gonna be like, okay, we ordered this drink.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, now you go to the bathroom. Yeah, you go to the bathroom. I'll drop it in, and then we'll do this again, and we'll see what you naturally, in your drugged state, decide to do.
I mean, at first I thought it was a really dumb idea for them to kind of go back. But now, after watching the episode, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
and like it puts so many pieces together, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a smart mechanism for the writers to like piece it together for us too. Watching, totally.
He's got to remember eventually. Like he can't just not ever remember.
Right.
What happened?
It was
because then we would never know anything.
It was a really good way for us to get filled in to all those little pieces. So, we see Ben talking to, apparently he was like waving a picture of his son around the bar, which we then learn is a sonogram of the baby that they didn't end up having. And they found out that it was a son. So that had initially, made Cornell think that he knew about Tom being his son. So that's one big, misunderstanding that they can clarify. And talking about the message to Jess, it was because Christy had just found out that they had the affair, so he wanted to apologize in advance for Christy maybe coming over and like yelling at Jess about things.
Or killing Tom.
Which we also thought.
Tom. Right. Yeah, we already talked about that. We are just on top of it.
But then he finds a tooth in his jacket pocket.
I'm guilty.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
He's like, aha, I remember everything. I did kill him. And then he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. So it ends up
where do we hide the tooth?
How did I forget the key piece from that night?
And of course I'm like, smash it into tiny pieces.
That's what I was thinking.
And hide it somewhere.
Put it in acid.
Get that acid bucket back out. Put the tooth in with the flashlight. Done. So we open up next with Ben and his lawyer going to Cornell with the tooth, and they piece it back all for Cornell, just like we just saw. So, Ben's telling the story. So we've got the statement from Dave saying he drugged me. We've got the ultrasound. This is my son. I wasn't talking about Tom. And then he talks about how when he found that tooth, he remembered exactly what happened. He went over there and he put the tricycle on the lawn and went to, tell Jess about Christy. And I think when he went in there initially, did you guys think that something weird was going to happen between him and Jess?
Oh, yeah. I either thought that or like something with Scott. Like I just thought bad. Like I didn't get good vibes.
No good vibes.
I thought
good vibes.
Right. Initially, I thought he was going to find like blood or like something really bad.
Or I thought like something with Scott. Like I thought, and then when they, you hear like the floor creak before he's supposed to go out. I was like,
the killer, the killer. It's the killer. Yeah. Totally.
It's just all Tom.
Yeah, just tiny,
so
cute little
alive.
Tom.
Such a pumpkin.
He is.
He's very cute. I did kind of think that maybe Jess was going to wake up and there was going to be some sort of action going on there.
You thought so?
A little bit.
But then Jess would have mentioned that already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if.
Oh, you think she would have?
Hey, remember when you came over and we like hooked up again?
Were you hooked up before my son died?
Yeah. Right? She would have. I feel like she would have said something. If she had
Probably.
woken up.
Yeah.
Probably Jess. She would have said it crying too. Like,
Yeah.
we
She's
forgot
always
about
crying.
Her
Yeah.
we hooked up.
Yeah, she's always crying. That poor girl. I want to see her not crying one of these times.
I know.
Aside from a flashback, so it's always just crying. So Ben's there at the house. Cute little Tom comes down and he brings him up to tuck him back in, and he lost a tooth, and so Ben's gonna read him a story,
And
whatever.
and for someone who's like blackout drunk and drugged, he was being
He sums
very
up
good.
real quick.
You guys,
I
that's
agree.
all I was thinking the whole
agree.
time. I'm like, sorry, Mom and Dad, but any time that I've been blackout drunk, like, I can guarantee you I'm not, like, walking up the stairs like, hey, sweetie, you want me to read you a story?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I couldn't even, what?
He did like yelling and being crazy
and,
to
like,
hi, sweetheart.
And then, like, remembering
in
to,
no
like, lock
time.
the doors
Yeah.
and put the blanket on
And he
her
wasn't
and,
even
like,
like slurring or anything. Yeah.
right. That
it
just
did
doesn't
seem like a quick
plausible.
shift
Yeah.
of coherence.
Like,
I
then to
agree.
think to take the tooth and then put the money. Like, there were so
Well,
many steps.
He did give him like $10, so
Yeah.
maybe that's where the drunkenness came out. I'm like, what the
$10
heck?
for that too.
I
Yeah,
gotta start
that
losing
seems
teeth
so-
then. That's what I'm
right?
doing these days.
It's like $1 maybe at the most, $2,
Yeah.
$10 for this. Like, how old's that kid? 3,
Something like that. 5.
5.
5,
That's such
3.
a good point. Like, how is he doing all that?
Yeah. He was a really good dad in that moment there.
Yeah, and
I
that
love that they showed them having a moment, and because they talked about how or Jess says later, she's like, he got to experience what having you for a dad was like for a little bit, and I don't know, it seems like, and we know that he wanted a baby so bad. Clearly, he's waving the ultrasound around that night, and like it was just a good moment for them to show between the two of them.
yeah.
So we see him like when he leaves to go back to his house that he does lock the door before he leaves, and now it's
Right.
locked. So I feel like whoever did it like was already in the house, just like waiting.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, because they
Because,
do.
like,
You
how-
just
I
like
just
heightened my
don't
theory.
know.
well, because we know.
I'll
This
tell y'all
theory
later.
that
I'll
you've been
tell y'all.
talking about, you
Is
haven't
it
shared with
Jess?
us
Yeah,
yet.
I'll tell you later.
But because we do
dear.
know.
Oh, shit, you think so?
No.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Well, because we know that whoever did it knows them, right? Because there wasn't any sign of forced entry in the place. So even if it was locked,
I just thought of something too. Sorry,
That could be
I have to
Scott.
remember for.
well, we can get to it real
Yeah,
soon.
let's just get to
yeah.
it.
So yeah, because that's pretty much where it ends. I mean, it ends with Ben his lawyer essentially telling Ben, Christy's got all this money hidden away. Do you think she'd give you her last 25 grand? No. And Ben finding
Which
all
is
Christy's
such
money.
a solid point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I love.
I don't know why. I
that
just
line.
love like
It was
that
so
cool
good.
lawyer pointer. Just
Yeah, he's like
yeah.
she wouldn't give you all of her money, especially if you're going
like,
through
she
a
does not
divorce.
love you
Right.
that much.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So more to come with that. But why don't we then dive into some predictions? Let's
Okay.
hear it.
Can I say mine really quickly since
Yeah,
I just
so you
thought
don't
of it? I'm
forget.
probably gonna forget in like 1 second.
Of course.
I don't
So
have any
I
predictions.
feel like like when they were when Ben was like tucking Tom in, and he was like, well, all those people in the books, like they don't have daddies either, like blah blah. I feel like what if Tom like woke back up and was like, I need a daddy or something, and like started walking over to Ben's house. You know, like unlocked the door, walked over to Ben's
Okay.
house, like was maybe like in the garage or something. Someone heard him in their garage at Ben's house or something. Whacked him with the flashlight because they thought it was something else, and then hit him in the woods.
What they're like,
Okay.
intruder, a tiny intruder.
Or like, I don't know, like something else. Because like, what if he walked over there and like got the flashlight
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
was like walking through the house or something? I don't know.
It's possible. For sure.
I mean, it's
woke
better than
up
mine.
again.
'Cause I
But
don't
like,
have one.
but like, unless someone was already in the house because he like
Yeah.
locked the door. I mean, like they could have broken in, but there wasn't any sign of intrusion or
Right.
whatever when they did their investigation.
yeah.
So like either like Tom got up in the middle of the night and walked out of the house and unlocked it himself because he was walking around like
yeah, he was
was.
getting
by
up to
himself.
check on the tooth.
Yeah, because when Ben went over there, he didn't have the flashlight. So somehow that flashlight got from Ben's house to the woods,
his
where
head.
or into Tom's head.
That's true.
You know,
What is
Isn't funny.
yours?
that's
So-
not funny, but
about
like
it.
you know, it makes.
I have 2-ish.
Go.
So the first isn't the one I've been talking about, but I just think something really suspicious about Dave is going on. I feel like he knows more than he is letting on to, because just the way he's reacting to certain things that Ben says, he's like, he's just acting weird, which I know he's clearly
I
acting.
feel like
but
we thought that like this whole thing, but now that what he said today, I feel like now he like I feel
He
like his
still
plate's,
acted
like,
weird
On
when
the
they were
same time,
retracing their steps.
I think he could be cleared. Like, this could have been his big secret, and this is his episode with all the stuff coming up about him. But when they were retracing his steps, when he's like, and then I went and went home, and Dave goes to go with him, and he's like, oh, but you didn't come with me. And he's like, oh, yeah, right.
Oh, yeah,
right,
that's
I didn't.
right. Yeah, that part was
That
a
might
little
just
weird.
be his personality. I don't know why I just took Dave's side, because I think he's super sketchball. But I think, so I actually don't know why I just said that, but I think he's kind of just like a, like, oh, right, you know?
Yeah.
So the big thing,
let's
obviously,
hear it.
obviously this is just a prediction. I still can't figure out why she would do it, but you know, I've been on I think Christy is one of the major suspects. So I'm thinking Ben just told her that night she's going a little crazy. Christy, maybe she's a secret pill popper. Who knows? Anyway, she grabbed the flashlight because she's like, I'm going to confront Jess. And then she's sitting there, and then maybe she's like doing that right as Ben walks in. So she's like, let's see what's up. So she's hiding with the flashlight in there, and then she hears him talking to Tom, so she gets all pissed. I still can't imagine her really like fully killing the kid. Yeah, she's like hiding in the house.
Oh,
she's already in Jess's house.
Yeah, she could be. Yeah.
She took the flashlight to like, because it was raining and everything.
Jess, okay.
And then Ben walks in, so she hides, and she hears them talking to Tom, and she gets like enraged and crazy, and could kill Tom then. I still am like, but I can't imagine her killing Tom.
I think she hired someone to kill Tom.
Yeah.
Do you think in that short amount of time that she learns, like, technically about...
She's like,
the, like,
enraged.
6
She's going
hours?
crazy. Right?
Well,
Yeah,
and there's something
I
sketchy about her with having all that money, so maybe she has connections like that.
And with cash, like, it's always a thing about cash. Like, if you have cash, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't write some killer a check.
Yeah.
And she has been hating Jess for a little while because she saw them tickling, flirting at this little
But then why did she say something then?
But I feel like they would kill Jess,
She's
not
sisters.
Tom.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she meant to, and then, or that
Maybe
was
she
like
thought
the
it
point.
was Jess coming in, and it was
maybe
Tom,
she's
and
meant to go totally crazy on Jess. Like,
I just can't picture Christy, the mother of these, like, 2 girls, like, and who's, like, you know, she's not the best mom, but she's,
tough.
like, maternal.
Yeah. It's tough, but I'm like, I don't know. Something about it.
She has her flaws as a
maternal
mother,
enough.
but I don't see her, like, killing any kids anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any solid predictions.
I just don't either. I don't know one thing about this show.
I think Tom got up in the middle of the night and was like, Ben, come back. You made me feel like I had a dad for a second. And then, like, and then something happened in
if that's true,
in
that's
his,
really
like,
sad,
transport.
and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
It seems realistic to
all
me.
my suspicions have been on Dave lately, and those all kind of got answered.
Well, maybe it was
and
Dave.
Confirmed.
Maybe it was
Dave when Tom walked in. He was still drugged, too.
I think Dave could have been involved. I still think there could be another person that we haven't been seeing that regularly.
Like the teenagers hang and drink in the woods.
Right.
Somebody I think someone on YouTube
secrets,
said Abby.
So many lies.
I was literally in my mind just being like, Abby.
Maybe she gets jealous.
You guys, Abby did not
Abby
kill
did not kill Tom.
I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Abby's, like,
Probably
not strong enough to, like, you know.
It takes
I don't
one
think
good whack.
Abby would, like, kill an ant.
Or
I don't
a couple.
know. She seems
just a
a
kid.
little off sometimes.
All right, we are getting far off.
We're done.
I think we need to stop.
Some solid predictions to run with for this week. Guys out there in Twitter and on YouTube, comment, tweet us. Let us know what your predictions are. Do you agree with any of ours?
No.
Probably not.
I bet some of you do. There's some people who really think that Christy did it. So
if anyone agrees with me, feel free to tweet me. Not going to get any tweets.
Thank you guys all out there so much for tuning in tonight. Be sure to check back with us next week. You can find all our podcasts on youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, iTunes, SoundCloud as well. And be sure to tweet us throughout the week. We want to know what you guys think. You can find me on Twitter at Lauren Salon and on all other social medias. And how about all y'all?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates. That's not going to water ever again.
I am all over the social media world at Chelsea Briche.
And y'all can find me at April Whisenhant.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.